Hi, good morning. Greetings. Hopefully, you can see me. Can you see me? Hi. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Hello, 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 wherever you are in the world. It's good to see you. It's good to be here. My name is Shauna, and I am in Ontario, Canada. This is my Substack called Alchemy Word by Word. And by that, I mean that personally, myself, I am definitely going through a transition and a transformation as a human being in this part of my life. And I am sharing some of the wisdom that I have learned along the way. And part of that is this session, these 5 sessions that I've been doing live on here on Substack this week, called Letting Go, a 5-day journaling journey. And part of my own journey has been, a big part of it has been journaling. I grew up in a family where feelings were not welcome, where feelings were not expressed. In fact, it made everyone uncomfortable if people talked about feelings. Humor was the deflection of choice. And then later on, other numbing techniques. And I didn't really dive into that until later on. However, I didn't really have any tools on how to express myself. And I was a really sensitive kid. And then that turned into someone who had to push down their feelings for most of their life. And that included loss, grief, but also success, elation, joy, all those things. Journaling became my friend. At an early age, I had a diary, it was called at that time. It had a little lock on it. My little puppy needs to get into her chair. So I'm putting her in her chair. Oh, the beauty of live events. Yeah, when I was a kid, I had one of those diaries where you put a lock on it and you had a little key so you could keep it from your siblings. And it started then. Writing about my feelings for boys, crushes that I might have had, but also just trying to explore how I felt and put it down on paper. And it has been sporadic throughout the years, throughout my adult life. Mostly when I was feeling at the bottom of the barrel, I would buy a new book, a new journal, a new diary. I'd write a few pages, I'd start to feel better, and then I would abandon it. So I had maybe, I want to say 6 or 7 journals where I only had the first couple of pages written. So I never continued on until the pandemic, I would say. Really, the pandemic forced me to start to meditate, so start to go inward, start to explore some of those feelings, some of the really deep hidden ones, and then eventually working through those, letting myself feel them. And I'm still doing that. I am still a work in progress. I'm still trying to be vulnerable and authentic in every way possible. But I am living a human life, and so I have to try to have compassion for myself, empathy for myself, because I do have a lot of shame, too, around some of the ways that I tried to avoid being uncomfortable. And that's on me. I take ownership of that, but I also am trying to be gentle with myself as I move through all of that. And so the gateway for me was being able to let go of a lot of things. I felt safe when I can control everything that was going to happen. And so part of my childhood, I'm the oldest, and I never knew what to expect when I came home from school every day. And so I would prepare myself by trying to control my environment. So reading the room, if you will, when I got home to see what I needed to do to manage the situation. And so that continued into my adult life, trying to control and manage everything and everyone so that I felt safe. And the biggest thing that helped me was being able to let go of some of that. And so hence the 5-day journaling journey, letting go. And if this is, if you're just joining on day 5, that's okay. I recorded all these sessions, so they are right there on Substack. But I am also recording them for other platforms so that you can maybe listen to them in audio format. You, of course, can listen to this one in audio format as well. So the way they go is we will take some deep breaths, simply some deep breaths to ground us into the space, kind of relax us into allowing even the process of letting go. Then we will do a short gratitude. I think of it as manifestation. So we are being grateful for the healing that can occur during this session. We have a theme for today. We'll talk about that theme a little bit. And then I have a writing prompt for all of us. I will write with you. I will keep track of the time. I am also still on a learning journey, always. And so there are things that come up for me too. And so we will write for a predetermined amount of time. I'll keep track of the time for us all. When we come back and out of the writing, we'll talk about what has come up. And then I have some oracle cards that I will pull 2 oracle cards to give us some further wisdom into the topic today. And yeah, this is the final one. The previous days, we started with surrender. The second day was pursuing joy, discovering, actually, in some cases, what brings you joy. And there was some homework in that one, some optional homework to write a list of 100 things that bring you joy. And you can take as long as you would like to do that. It's a practice of having it down on paper and really thinking about how you can pursue joy. The third one was patience, practicing patience with yourself as you move through things. And yesterday, number 4, day 4, was self-love. That one has been a challenging one for me. It has been a long, long, long journey. I feel like I'm on a good side of that, but it is always a work in progress, definitely for me. Like I say, I am a human living a human life, so it's never perfect. It's never the way you think maybe it's going to go. Today, our theme for day 5, the final day, is a tricky one, and also one that I am struggling with always. And remember, as you learn and grow, all of these things can change. All of these things can shift and change. You always have a choice. You always have a choice. You can choose to surrender. You can choose to pursue joy. You can choose to have patience. You can choose to love yourself and love others. Every day is a choice. Every morning you wake up is a choice. What are you going to do today? Today's theme is boundaries. So often we allow our work, maybe our colleagues, maybe people you manage, maybe people that manage you, our families, external obligations like volunteer opportunities, maybe team sporting events. Many of these things take our time. And in our head, it can be good or bad. And maybe we're resentful because we have this obligation, or we consider it an obligation to listen, to endure, to provide feedback or not. Maybe sometimes it makes us feel bad, drains our energy. I would consider family and the closest ties, the closest emotional ties that we have in our lives, are the most challenging to observe boundaries with. But in order to even realize that a boundary perhaps needs to be in place, we have to consider going into our bodies and what that feels like when we're with that person. What does our energy feel like? And so, with that thought in mind, we're going to start with some deep breaths. And wherever you are, whether you are sitting, lying down, if it is comfortable and safe to do so, I'm going to invite you to just allow your eyes to float closed in this moment. And we'll start the process of slowing down. Paying attention just to our breath, allowing our bodies to do their natural thing, their beautiful thing, breathing in and out, not trying to control anything, just being aware of your breath. And identifying here anywhere in your body where you might be feeling tension. Witnessing where you might be experiencing turbulence, pain. Maybe you've carried some thoughts here about what happened last night, earlier today, what you have to do later. Just being aware of those thoughts, not discounting them, but also not clinging to them. Allowing them to come and go, just like watching clouds in the sky as they move through. And we'll take our first deep cleansing breath. I say in through the nose and out through the mouth, but whatever feels comfortable for you, please do that. And we'll go in through the nose and releasing it through our mouth. And again, returning to anywhere in your body where you may be feeling tension today. in this moment. We'll do a body scan starting with witnessing the top of your head, allowing that to relax, allowing your forehead to relax, your eyes, your nose, allowing your ears to relax, your mouth, allowing your chin to unclench and soften, allowing your neck to relax, allowing your shoulders to drop, allowing your biceps, your triceps, your elbows, your forearms, your wrists to relax, the heels of your hands, the palms of your hands, and your fingers to relax. Allowing your chest to relax, your tummy to relax, allowing your pelvis to let go, allowing your hips to unhinge and relax, your quads, your hamstrings, your knees, your shins, your calves, allowing everything to relax, allowing your ankles to let go and release, allowing your heels to relax, the soles of your feet, the balls of your feet, and your toes, your twinkle toes to relax. Just taking a moment to go back and identify where in your body you might be feeling tension still, any pain. We're going to take our next deep breath into that tension, into where that is, and then we're going to release it on our exhale. Taking our deep breath into the tension and releasing that tension through our mouth on our exhale. And again, scanning from the top of your head down to the tips of your toes, to the extension of your arms to your fingers, identifying any lasting tension you might be feeling in your body. And we'll take our last deep breath into that tension and releasing everything through the exhale. Breathing into any lasting tension and letting it all go with a sigh. And we'll go right into a short gratitude. I use the word universe, soul self, highest self, intuition, if you will. Excuse me. Dear universe, thank you for today. Thank you for another beautiful opportunity for healing, for discovery, for support, for love. when we address and have an awareness and an acknowledgement of the places we need to heal and grow, modeling that growth, being authentic and vulnerable about that, has a ripple effect through the earth, through the world. It raises the vibration. We may never fully realize the people we affect as we heal ourselves. So grateful for that, and for being part of that. May we remember when we are alone, when we feel isolated, when perhaps we feel like we don't belong. May we remember we are always loved, supported, and protected. We just have to ask. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And so it is. Welcome to day 5 of our 5-day journaling journey through letting go. Today's theme is boundaries. Often one of the most difficult things to observe for ourselves. First of all, even thinking that we are allowed to have boundaries, that we are allowed to observe values and align the way we live our lives with those values. Often we feel a need to appease others, to make ourselves available to others, including really close family. Many of us, perhaps our parents, perhaps you are a caretaker for your own parents. Perhaps you are taking care of siblings, extended family, or maybe you're taking care of people in your community. Maybe your work is taking care of people. That makes it so challenging to think it's okay to take care of yourself. Boundaries, though, are so important to your well-being. And when you can model how you want to be treated, the people around you that are in your life notice. It is also uncomfortable, however, for folks who have benefited from your lack of boundaries. So it takes courage. It takes great courage to even explore where you could put a boundary in place. But it is like a muscle, I will say, as someone who didn't have anyone who taught me about boundaries, about where I ended and another person started. It takes practice, and it gets easier. It really does. And no is often, in placing boundaries, a full sentence. You don't need to tell folks why you want to put a boundary in place or why you're saying no. Recently, I was invited to a networking event to support a friend who I love dearly. However, networking doesn't seem authentic to me anymore, depending on what kind of networking it is, I guess. Showing up in a real way, showing up in a vulnerable way has to feel safe for me. And so I said no. I said, no, I cannot come. I did have other things I had to do, and I do, but I did say no. I said, I love you and I support you 100%, but I can't come. And I didn't feel a bit guilty about it. Now, when I first started putting up boundaries around family and around work, and around partnerships, I was terrified. I was terrified of the repercussions, and I was terrified of the rejection I would feel. But I think mostly I was terrified of how it might change the dynamic and how uncomfortable that made me feel. Releasing the responsibility of taking care of someone else was very uncomfortable for me because I've been a caretaker my whole life. It's part of my identity. Or it was. It still is. But again, as I say, I'm learning. I'm a human. I'm moving through it just like everyone else. I'm just sharing really vulnerably about what it's been like. And it's been tough. Who am I if I'm not taking care of everyone? Now I get to explore that. By letting go of that old identity of, I have to take care of everyone. Well, if no one's going to do it, I might as well do it. Even if I don't have capacity to do it. I remember there was a big, and there still is, a big push to always say yes. I believe it was Shauna Rae who talked about the year of saying yes. So saying yes to everything so that you could gain experience. I took that on. I did say yes to everything. And I felt completely overwhelmed. I was past my capacity. I burnt myself out. I was angry and resentful at myself, but I took it out on other people. You know, why me? Why do I have to take everything on? Why isn't anyone helping me? Well, because you didn't ask for any help. You didn't say no. You didn't have any boundaries. It's always a choice. It's always a choice whether you want to pick up on things, take them, carry them over the finish line, or if it doesn't feel good in your body, if it is taking energy away from you and it is not bringing you joy, what's the payoff? What is it doing for you? How are you benefiting, or what are you upholding by not putting a boundary in place, by continuing on with that unhealthy situation? When you feel tension and you are exhausted after the exchange, or you don't enjoy the meeting, what does that tell you? These are all signals to you. And I do want to say it's okay to back away from things temporarily. You can say, I need some space right now. Always. There's no harm. There is no shame in that. Taking care of yourself is a huge, huge step and a huge example of self care, of confidence in yourself, and in valuing yourself. And so, day 5 of letting go, a 5-day journaling journey, today is boundaries. And we're going to write together. I'm going to put a prompt. I'm looking over to the side a little bit because I have my phone there, and so I can see myself, and I can see. Hello, Christine. Hello, Ethan. Thank you. We will continue. I love doing this. It's really fun. I've really enjoyed this week. It's been an experiment, and I am a former radio broadcaster, and this feels very much like radio. It's been really fun. Thank you for those of you that have tuned in, and it has been really fun. We do have a writing prompt, and I'm going to write it here in the chat. It's a little bit long, so bear with me. We're going to write for 5 minutes together. I'm going to keep track of the time for us. I'm going to write with you and see what comes up, because I am always trying to see how I can learn and grow. There's always another layer. There's always something new. After we write and we come out of it, we'll talk about it. And after that, I will pull 2 oracle cards from 2 separate decks, and we will get some further wisdom into this topic. Thank you for being patient with me. So the writing prompt is, can I be curious about where I might say no or even remove myself from a situation or dynamic? I'm going to put 5 minutes on the clock for us. I'm going to write with you, and I will come back in 5 minutes. I'm going to say, don't edit yourself. See where it takes you. And I will meet you back here in 5 minutes. One more minute, folks. And time. What came up for folks? I'm curious. I know for me, it goes in a different direction than I'm expecting. When I don't observe a boundary, I get angry and I hold that in. I get angry at the other person when really I am angry at myself for not speaking my truth. That was my epiphany for today. And so this is day 5 of letting go, a 5-day journaling journey. And our theme today is about boundaries, probably one of the most challenging things to even think about if you have always been a people pleaser. Even the thought of exploring it and changing the dynamics within your life, challenging old patterns, the way that we used to do things, the way that we've always done things, and saying, no, that's actually not good for me. It's really challenging. So I commend every single one of you that are doing that are challenging yourselves to look at where you could potentially, and just being curious about where you could observe boundaries, a boundary, even one. Like I said, it is like a muscle. Once you start, it begins to get easier. I am going to pull some oracle cards to give us some wisdom into the topic. And the one that I am going to pull from, the first one, is the Spirit Animal Pocket Oracle by Colette Baron Reed. This is a big deck. There's a lot of cards. 68 cards. This is the travel edition, so it's a little bit tiny. A little bit easier to manage for me in my small hands. I'm going to knock on the deck and ask our soul self, the universe, our highest self, for some further wisdom into this topic of boundaries. What is the wisdom for us from these cards? What can we reflect on further? This one is number 48. They're pretty cards. Porcupine Spirit. Time for Beginner's Mind. When Porcupine Spirit calls your name, You are being asked to adopt a beginner's mind and to approach situations with innocence and curiosity. The old, confining stories no longer have a hold on you. Life is full of surprises hiding in plain sight. Looking at the world afresh with new eyes can help you find what you have been seeking, whether it is a relationship, an opportunity, or evidence that you have all you need right now to co-create what you desire. Who knew? Porcupine asks you to be playful and have a childlike curiosity. There is so much waiting for you that you have yet to discover. Are you feeling prickly and defensive lately? And assuming you will be hurt before you have seen any sign that such a reaction is called for. Perhaps an old sense of guilt and shame is causing you to be cynical and wary when you are meant to be open and curious. Self-protection is a good thing, but you may be protecting yourself from something that will not actually harm you, but instead will bring you abundance, happiness, and love. Remember your innocence, and you will see what you have been overlooking. Porcupine quills are filled with air, allowing a porcupine to float in water. Now is a time to let your innocent nature keep you buoyant. So have a curious nature about boundaries. Thinking about it may not be as scary as you anticipate. That's what I'm going to take from that. I am going to post these later. So I'm going to put this one aside for a second. And I'm going to pull from another deck. So Porcupine Spirit, time for a beginner's mindset. Time for a fresh look and new start, perhaps. An innocence, a curiosity about boundaries. And I'm going to pull from this deck next. It is the Sacred Medicine Oracle by Asha Frost. And again, I'm going to knock into the deck and ask the universe, our soul self, our highest self, our collective self for guidance into the topic of boundaries today. What is the further wisdom for us into boundaries? I'll show you this in a second. We have number 24, the medicine bag. Gather. So relating to boundaries, this is our further wisdom. A medicine bag is a sacred item, often made of animal skin, sometimes adorned with beads that hold sacred items for the person wearing it. It can be filled with feathers or other animal parts, crystals, plant medicines, or other items that are meaningful. The bag is often worn around the neck, which offers protection and amplified spirit connection for the wearer. Alternatively, it can be carried in a pocket so it rests against the body. This card asks you to gather the sacred medicines that would best fill your medicine bag. What animal spirit medicine are you most connected to? Which plants? Is there a rock spirit or crystal that currently speaks to you? Are there significant items passed down from a relative that would provide a connection to your ancestors? As you mindfully gather these items, you are encouraged to see how they represent aspects of yourself that you may have forgotten. There is a powerful reclamation in creating a medicine bag, and this card asks you to dig deep so you may come into wholeness. The sacred ceremony is your ancestors hold your medicine bag before your eyes and heart, and you hear powerful drumming all around you. This bag becomes a portal for you to call back aspects of yourself that have been lost. This is akin to a soul retrieval, and the sacred items that best serve your spirit at this time are welcomed back into your medicine bag. They place this around your neck, and you feel warmth in your heart. Any shattered pieces of the past are now home in your soul, whole and complete. The healing affirmation is, my medicine bag is filled with potent parts of my becoming. I honor all parts of my sacred medicine. And so to me, this message is remembering who you are, remembering what you value most, remembering parts of yourself that you may have lost, that you may have given up in the pursuit of relationships, in the pursuit of jobs, in the pursuit of success, in grief, in separation, in perhaps a separation of family, a grievance, a disturbance. This is calling back parts of yourself, and we had something similar earlier in the week. So when it comes to boundaries, thinking about what you value most, gathering those values that you hold dearly, valuing yourself, remembering who you are, remembering that you are allowed to take care of yourself. I'm going to post these later with this recording. This is the final day of letting go a 5-day journaling journey. I have enjoyed so much being with all of you. And if you would like to see more of these, please let me know. Send me a message or a comment, and I will provide more. If there are topics that you would like to cover, if there are things you would like to explore, and I will review again the days. Day 1 was surrender. Day 2 was pursuing joy. Day 3 was practicing patience, both with yourself and with others. Day 4 was self-love. And boundaries was today. And hopefully this gives you a foundation to letting go of some of the things that have taken up your energy to try to control in your life. So much gratitude. Thank you, thank you, thank you for the opportunity to be with you, to assist in this way, to be of service to the world in this way. I thank you, thank you, thank you. And I will see you again soon. Bye for now.